this is Pandora. Welcome back. Today I am going to be talking about my indoor garden. So several things I'm going to cover in this video is I'm going to show you some pictures of me when I first started the seedlings, what tools did I use, which seeds did I start, and then second I'm going to be telling you about a big change. So I removed some shelves. I actually moved the shelves to a different area, so everything's completely changed. You'll see that when you watch the video that the place where I started the seedlings is a whole different area. So I will let you know why I made that change. And then also after they started growing a bit, I made some different choices in what plants I was going to grow. And I had limited space, actually lost some space. So I will talk about those plants that I decided to keep, which ones I didn't decide to keep. And stick around for the end of the video because I have a very important tip for growing one of the plants that you're going to see in my garden here. So let's get started into the video. Fall is starting and I'm in the process of starting my indoor garden again. So I had kind of given it a rest during summer so that I could concentrate on the outdoor garden, but now I am ready to get this started again, and I started a couple of weeks ago with the planting and starting of the seeds. So the first thing I did was draw out my plan on an online planner so that I could see what I needed to plant for this year. And then I planted seeds and put them in some seed starting trays with a dome lid so that it would keep it nice and moist, and put most of them with a heat mat underneath and a thermostat so that I could check on the temperature. And so these are the shelves of my indoor garden. I actually started with 4 shelves and now I'm down to 2 shelves because I want to try to see if I can grow some taller items. And I also have some grow tents over on the side that I do some of my plants in. So down here are the starts that I have for this year. Now one of those flats is these are actually some starts I have for outdoors. I'm going to try to do some more kohlrabi, pansies, and some onions. I have a bunch already of vegetables already started and planted out there, but these are some last minute ones that I wanted to try to squeeze in. Once I started taking out the flowers and some of the other old stuff this weekend, I found a lot more spots for things that I could plant. Okay, so here we are for the first things that I'm starting for my indoor garden. This is a cutting celery. I've never tried this before, but when I grow celery, I like to cut the outside stems off, so supposedly that's a good variety to use. And then I have 3 types of celery here that I planted. Looks like only one of them has come up. Some of them take quite a while, so I'm going to wait and see if those other ones come up, but actually I only needed 2 of the bigger ones, so I'm pretty much ready to go. I want to try some red onions. This is a smaller onion. And then I have some herbs. I have cilantro, thyme, and fennel there. Some peppers. And I actually have 2 types of pepper plants. It looks like all 6 came up. I'm only going to need like 2 to 4 of those. And then I have 3 types of tomato plants. I'm probably only going to use 1 of each of those because they take up quite a bit of room in the house. Then starting off with some Parris Island lettuce. And I have basil, some chives. Looks like only 1 of the chive plants showed up there. And then I'm trying some cucumbers this year, which I will have to be pollinating that myself because I'm not going to let any bees into the house. And so that's what I have started so far. Now there's also this other seed starting unit that I use when I have things that I want to grow taller or I want more side air holes. These are sometimes really handy to get more airflow in and out. Then I use this one. So a bit more on these trays. These are the sturdiest trays I've found that I can buy. I am going to put a link for you to find these. And then these really sturdy 6 cells, which this particular one is very, very sturdy. It's going to last years and years and years. And they don't use as much soil as some of the other ones that I have. I have some other ones where I can let the plants get bigger, but when I don't want to use up that much soil, then I use these smaller ones like this. And this is perfect for a lot of the things I do, especially for the kitchen garden where I'm going to be planting these things out pretty quickly. So yeah, I have some bigger ones that I use for broccoli and things that I want to let get bigger in the cells, but I'm not using that right now. And this will fit. So it'll fit 12 of these 6 cells. And the dome fits really perfectly onto these trays. So it's kind of meant to go as a set, really easy to use. And you just stick the thermostat into there and put it into the soil of one of your pots. And that's going to let you choose the temperature with the thermostat that you want to start your seeds at. Then once it's about, mostly germinated for each seed 6 cell, I can then take each 6 cell out separately and put them under the lights that are down here, and then leave the other ones in here. So if I put them all in a big flat, which I don't need that many, or I have mixed things, then you're not going to be able to take these out individually and put them under the lights. And so when most of these have germinated, then I put them down here into what my lighted section is now. And then later I'm going to be turning on the lights brighter up here. So I'll have this whole section going with lights, and then 2 grow tents over there. Okay, so it is time for me to get to repotting, and I will check in with you after that. So started my indoor garden by drawing up a plan on an online software, and I will put the link to the software in case you want to try that out. And I put all of my shelves and growing areas on there and drew the different pot sizes that I could fit in the various spaces, labeled out which plants would go where. Then, when I started the plants, I grew a lot more than what I thought I could fit in there. So, yeah, after the seeds got started and they were going for a while, then I decided, even though that garden had worked pretty well last year over where I had it, which was in the kitchen over there by the window, I decided that I wanted to have my the view out my kitchen window back. So I decided to drag most of that in here and also gain the use of my potting bench back under the kitchen window, which I really liked having over there. Which meant that I also had to move my grow tents because my grow tents were in this area over here, kind of where that grow tent is right now, but they were actually up, both of them were up on the potting bench, so they were nice and easy to get to. But I didn't really like the height in the room because I live in a very small apartment. This is the living room I'm in now. That was the kitchen over there. And so I just now use a stool for those. So I have that potting bench over there. I have the one grow tent right there. I have this set of shelves, and then I have one grow tent also over there. So year and a half ago or 2 years ago, whenever I started this kitchen garden, I had the top shelf up here, and then I had 3 shelves in between, and then the bottom shelf. So as time has gone by, I have reduced the number of shelves, and I was basically using 2 shelves in between for most of the time of the garden. And then when I decided to design the garden for this year's winter garden, I decided to take out one of the shelves, so I had the two shelves and then the bottom shelf there. And that's when I drew up the plan for the current garden. Well, when I moved it over, I measured from the top of these pots down here, these larger pots, and measured the plants that I have. Some of the celery is outside, so I measured the height of that and then where the grow lights were, and I decided that's not going to be enough room height-wise. So I actually eliminated another shelf, and then this shelf up here is actually now just house plants. So yeah, I went from that many shelves with a lot of smaller shelves for like microgreens and things to do one larger, taller shelf for growing indoor taller things this year. And then the two grow tents are shorter, so those will have the other things like lettuce and things like that. So let me show you now what I have planted now in the main shelves and in the two grow tents. This is Parris Island lettuce. It's a really nice lettuce. I grew some of it last year. It's sort of like a smaller romaine type lettuce. I usually just cut the outside leaves when making a salad. Down here I have some extra celery plants that I didn't pot up into larger containers. They tend to last a long time, and you can leave them in the smaller containers until you need a new one. I have two types of tomato plants, blonde kafkan and orange currant. Here I have some more extra celery plants, and I have some small variety of a red onion, a couple of cilantro plants, and some basil and chives over on the left. These are peas and then cucumbers. And over here on the right, I have 4 pepper plants, and on the left, 4 celery plants. And in the center of those two, there are a couple of thyme plants. So thank you for watching today. I was very happy to share my indoor garden with you. And I'm going to put the links in the video description box to everything I used, including these really nice square pots that save a lot of room. Very space efficient when you're using those indoors and you don't have much space. I'll have all of those links to the tools and the resources in the description box, and you can find me and some of these tips on Facebook and on Instagram under Integrative Gardening. You can also go to integrativegardening.com for the website. Hope you enjoyed, and like and subscribe. Thank you. Quick tip for growing cucumbers indoors: you'll need to be pollinating them. So you'll need to identify the male and female flowers. This is a male flower. It has a skinnier connection to the stem. That's a male flower. Here's a female flower. It has a little mini cucumber on it. This flower is kind of past due, so should have been pollinated earlier. If you don't pollinate in time, then the mini cucumber won't produce a real cucumber. So most of the plants that I showed you today are self-pollinating. The cucumber is the only one that you would need to pollinate yourself. And I'm going to show you how to do that in just a minute. Another male flower. I'm finding mostly male flowers on here. That's the same female flower. Another male flower. And right down there, there's a tiny female flower that's just now starting. Okay, so to pollinate, you'll need to find one of the male flowers and then go and get yourself a paintbrush that's got some semi-stiff bristles on it, not too soft, not too hard, but flexible enough that you can collect some of the pollen from the center of the flower. Then all you do is, ouch, stickers. Put the pollen in the center of the female flower. This one probably won't work because the flower is already fading, but we'll give it a try anyway. So if you don't pollinate in time, then these little mini cucumbers won't turn into regular, nice eating cucumbers. So that's about it. This is the first time I'm doing cucumbers indoors, and we'll just see how it goes. Here's a view of the online garden planner that I use. It has quite a bit of capability. You can do all these different shapes in different colors, different stroke width. And then you can create the outside of your garden beds with this, or the different size planters. You'll notice as you click and drag, it will show you the size, so 1 foot, 2 inches, etc. You can delete there. You can pick out different plants to put on there, or you can drag a row of plants. Say if you're doing your outside garden, you need to be having some long rows of things. It'll space them out for you. You can move everything around. So for redoing your garden next year, you don't need to start over. Just rearrange. And various different types of plants, flowers, herbs. When I started out, I had more space on the garden, so I have one less row now. So this is not how my garden looks, but it's pretty close, and it helped me get started. These are some different fixtures, so we put a bean trellis up there. You can also just put text wherever you need to. This is the second year I've been using it, so I felt it was good enough to subscribe again, and link for this will be in the video description.